I'm going to remind you of a mathematical method called completing the square. And I'm going to start talking about it by squaring a binomial term, that term being x plus 6. So if I want to multiply x plus 6 times x plus 6, I'm just going to use FOIL. And so when I do that, I get x squared is the firsts, and outers is going to be plus 6x, and inners is also plus 6x. And lasts is 6 times 6, which is 36. We get x squared plus 6x plus 6x is 12x, plus 6 squared is 36. So notice that the 12 comes from 2 times 6, and that times x. And the 36 is 6 times 6. So it's worthy of note to see that that's what we have. And in other words, this trinomial is the same as saying x plus 6 squared. Now, that's not the typical thing for completing the square. The typical thing for completing the square starts off maybe something like this. X squared plus 12x minus 7 is equal to 0. And you're asked to use completing the square in order to solve a problem like this. Well, the way that you do that is you stretch it out and give yourself some room to complete the square. So you write the x squared plus 12x, and you move the minus 7 over, and you say, well, now I've got this big space, and so I'm going to fill it. And I'm going to fill it with half of 12, which gives me 6, and then I'm going to square that 6 and get 36. So watch what happens. Plus 36. And now you see this trinomial is a completed square. But I just changed things, so I have to unchange things by subtracting 36. And then we're off and running. Because now we can rewrite this as the completed square, x plus 6 squared, and then combine the negative 36 and the minus 7. So that becomes negative 43 equals 0. So now, how do you solve using completing the square? Well, you isolate the squared term by adding 43 to both sides, and you end up with x plus 6 squared is equal to 43. You take the square root of both sides and put a plus minus in front of the number because it's going to require both of those. And now we have x plus 6 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 43. And we can subtract 6 over and solve for x. And so x actually becomes now negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 43. And you'll find that that's the number, the exact form of the number that fits in order to get the answer for this problem right here.